most of your antelopes do. So this one reacting more to the sound at the moment. Such comical looking animals. See, just walking away, so the tail just swishing. As soon as they run, they always have that antenna pop up at the back, the tail pull right up. Reason being is they've got tail muscles actually directly linked to the back muscles. So as soon as they run and they put pressure on the back muscles or strain on the back muscles, it pulls the tail up like a little flag. I don't know if you've ever been to a big mining site. All the vehicles have got these long flags on them so that other vehicles can see them. Sort of, maybe we find the leopard. Ahead of us, it's quite a pretty one. Small knobthorn. Which one are we looking at?
Which one do you want?
That one there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice one. This is the knobthorns we've been looking at. Some of the really big trees are covered in the flowers. We're just driving past a little knobthorn thicket here, but mostly smaller trees, so they're still a little bit slower to flower. Two reasons: don't quite have the extensive root system of big trees. Also, they're a little bit lower down in a thicket here, so they'll get a little bit less sunlight. So you can see beautiful pom-pom like sort of puffy flowers. Essentially those are just a lot of small flowers. I don't know how many in there, but probably quite a few hundred per little bunch of flowers. Maroon ones, the small ones, there's a flower that'll still open up as well. So in the next few days, more and more of the knobthorn thickets will just be totally covered in these sort of pale yellow flowers. Basically lots of pollen on it, that's what giving it that sort of yellowish color. Oh yeah, I tell you what's catching my attention as much as the Nyala. Beautiful, the colors of the leaves. And if you sort of look straight at the Nyala's body, some very soft colors. Big male standing in some leafy area there, and he's walking over to a female there. Of course they're going to be disappearing there. See, he's doing phlegm, just testing if she's urinating, so he's smelling that and seeing if she's maybe ready to reproduce. Typically the mating season is a little bit earlier, sort of end of autumn, early winter, but I can just see a little one coming out in the back, so it means this female had her calf quite late in the estrus cycle than a typical Nyala female. It's actually a Nyala bull that we see every so often. Again, you can recognize him from his horns. See there, Jan shows you upwards, the horn tips very close together, almost not touching but almost touching. So typically the horns are normally a bit wider apart than that, so this makes you can see the slightly white tips showing that the horns are still growing. Even though he's a mature male, the horns won't really get much longer anymore. They're growing very slowly, but it shows you that the tips are still alive, almost like the tip of your. When I say alive, I mean it in a very loose sense. It's not where the horns are growing. Horns grow from the base of the skull upwards, the same as a fingernail would. But the fact that those tips are still white shows you that the fabric of the horn is still healthy. This male is still cleaning his horns. Often we see it around the water when they stick their horns into the mud. Both as a visual display, but also as a very practical sort of exfoliating, cleaning method. Keep those horns in good shape. Very healthy male. I think we're going to probably move. Oh, there's one coming out. Female coming out a little bit. Just walking through. You can see there, look at that crest on his back. He's making himself look more impressive. We mentioned it earlier this morning with the young Nyala male we saw. Just see the faint stripes of his coat. He's quite dark, being a mature male. You can also notice lots of flies flying around him. And then I'm sure the other thing you're noticing is that bird. A little bit dark, but asking him for ticks, giving him a specialized valet service. Another oxpecker right on his face as well, cleaning into his ear. Look at that. Incredible trust between these two animals. You can imagine what it must feel like having a bird stick its beak down your ear. The Nyala knows it's good for him. Oxpecker knows it's not going to get hurt by the animal. Beautiful light as well. Just look at that, just breaking through the back of the leaves. Stunning colors. And these monkeys are trying to mess around with us, so they're there. It's just seeing them that's quite tricky. I'm not quite sure why they're in the tree. Probably just a good place for them to sit around in. They might find the odd bit of old fruit, but it's now a bit late to have jackalberry fruit still on the tree. Right up there on the bank, you can just see his shape through the leaves. Yeah, no, we're not going to spend too much time with him. He's in some thick stuff. He was probably browsing here. It's a little tamboti thicket. It's a tree that, if we were eating these leaves, it would actually could kill us, give us bad enough stomach poisoning that we dehydrate from it. But animals have it and they can cope with it no problem. Possibly even cope with some of the internal parasites that they have. On here as well, just listening to the noise. Other baboons making a noise further back as well. Maybe there's two groups in the area. Probably also planning to head towards the same waterhole we're going to. It's from a weeping wattle. Just not many weeping wattles actually that have got leaves on still this time of year. It's actually got a twice compound leaf, meaning that there's... Let me go pick one, I'll show you. Actually it's twice compound leaf. Bit of a boring term maybe, but I'll bring one closer. Yeah, this leaf would have broken off anyway in the next probably week or so. It's almost dead. You can see it's going that yellow color, which means it's not photosynthesizing anymore. My tongue around that this morning. So it's losing all the chlorophyll, all the greenness in it. Getting that yellow color. But a twice compound leaf, essentially where my finger is holding it at the base, that's where the leaf starts. So all of this is one leaf. And then you've got the main stem. From that stem it breaks up into smaller stems again with lots of little leaflets on it. So each of these leaflets part of essentially a compound leaf like that. If you look at a compound leaf, you have many of them going on to one stem again. So it starts at a leaf making it twice compound. And that's probably boring enough. More interesting for me, just how beautiful that looks. Just have another look at it. Beautiful, and you can see the bit of wind as well picking up here this morning. Here it is.
Well, nice little surprise this. A hyena come down for a wallow, I suppose. Something I've never seen before. Enjoy.
We're going to say goodbye. Thank you very much for joining on the morning drive. A little bit quieter than yesterday, not quite as many big animals, but nonetheless fantastic morning out here and quite a few things potential for this afternoon. So enjoy the waterholes. Enjoy the game drive this afternoon with Rexon, and from myself, Peter, and Jan on camera here, thanks for joining us in the drive. Haley back at the live control center. Myself and Haley are going on leave for our break, so we're going to enjoy your day. Cheers.